Welcome to Hair Up, Bra Off podcast. We're here to be your new comfort fix with unfiltered conversations on random topics and gossip. As two women in their 30s, Kathryn, who's been chronically single, and Sue, who is happily married with 2 cats. So take your bra off, throw your hair up, and let's get into it. And men, if you're listening, take notes. Hello and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Hair Up, Bra Off. We are so thrilled that you're here with us. And I know you might be wondering, is this a funeral? No, it's not. We're just casually both dressed in black because we like to coordinate now. This is a coordinated effort in this podcast front.
Yeah.
And we decided to dress like this.
Well, it's a sad. It's like the end of the weekend.
That's
kind of
true. Oh, I love that.
the
Okay,
sadness
yes.
that I
This
feel
is what
particularly.
true Sunday attire looks like.
Yeah.
Is these two ladies dressed in black.
Exactly. Specifically for me, that I probably have to work another. Well, you work too, but I'm saying like
No, nothing near as much as
I
Sue.
have
So
to
this is
work another many hours starting tomorrow. So yeah, it's kind of the death of the weekend.
Oh, I like that. It's like we're just celebrating the death of Sue's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all in this together.
Yeah, I was also born on a Sunday. So like to me, Sundays, which is for those of you that listen to us, like when we record, it's Sundays. And so Sundays just feel very like I don't really like to do anything other than obviously this, but like that's about it. Like I'm not like a Sunday person. Like I don't really use my Sunday. I just like relax,
But see, that's the thing. You use your Sunday to relax. Like I feel like Sunday is your most important day of the week. The whole entire, I was going to say nay something, but just important.
Yeah, exactly.
Relaxing. I think you just forget how much recalibrating takes.
And it does. It also shows, I saw somewhere that it says that you only start relaxing after 48 hours or something after work. Like that's really when you're able to relax. So we really don't get a break with the weekends.
Yeah.
You need to take at least 4 days to kind of feel something. Otherwise,
that's why I wish the U.S. would take like other countries. I heard that they have like they're starting to do like 4-day week, like 4-day work weeks, or like they're allowed to take naps, or like you've traveled more. Have you noticed that like in different countries their workforce?
For sure. 100%. Especially like Europe has all of August. Just all of August is like actually off. Like just the entirety of August. Like the companies just shut down for the whole month.
Those are the companies that want their employees to thrive, you know? And I was going to say something. I'm probably going to edit this out. So it's probably why there's so much less violence there compared to the U.S. Like the U.S. I just feel is just like people always constantly burning out and trying to get their anger and emotions out, and they do it by violent attacks. And that's what we see.
Yeah.
So
100%.
But anywho, sidetrack. Now let's get back to what we were really supposed to be talking about.
We'll just have another 4-minute episode on just the work week, just 4-day work week and why we need it.
But now that you know our full explanation of our attire, today is exciting because we're going to be talking about drug addiction, and Sue's going to kind of go into what she's been listening and hearing about in that subject, and also about Lamar Odom and his overdose that he went through. And I don't know what Sue's going to talk about as far as drugs yet, but I know that we have been sharing about the Lamar Odom, the overdose. Now,
and there's a special on Netflix too, though. I think we both saw. Yeah.
So the crazier part is for our true fans that are out there and listening vigorously to every episode, and as I always say, take notes, we did a whole episode about Viagra. And I had mentioned how young men are taking it now and it's becoming an issue. Of course, 24 hours after recording that episode, something I see online that could have pertained to that episode perfectly, which was Lamar Odom. I had no idea. And this happened in 2015. That one of the reasons why he overdosed. It wasn't the sole reason. This isn't what mainly caused him to go into like seizures and almost dying. The contributing is he took an herbal supplement that was supposed to act as Viagra. And I was like, wait a second, what herbal supplements are they talking about? And then it all clicked in my head like, wait, every time I'm at the gas station, I do see these pills by the cashier that have the most ridiculous masculine names. So they're like Monster Truck Boner, Rhino Pill,
Oh my
Big
god.
Jack
Rhino.
Penis. There's actually one called Rhino Pill. That's like one of the more famous ones is
Oh my
Rhino
god.
Pill.
That's crazy.
And I guess he took in 24 hours you're only supposed to take one, but
Yeah.
within a span of 3 days he took 10.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And it just made me realize just how bad of a problem, but it's not even Viagra now. I totally forgot that there's this generic version that you can just get at the gas station.
What so it's a generic Viagra
Well,
thing?
it's just so one thing you have to know is the supplement world is highly unregulated.
Mhm.
It's really the wild, wild west as far as what you're putting into your body. You really
Yeah.
never know. And so these pills come out and they claim to be herbal, all natural, nothing that you would need a prescription for. However, when people have bought in those pills and actually tested it, they realize that they do sometimes add a certain ingredient that's also in Viagra. They also put in the pills without letting you know. And I forgot, I know that, let me see what the name is. It starts with an S. I don't know how to pronounce things, so I don't know how to say this word. But
Curious though, what was the rationale behind taking more than 1 or 2? Like, was it that he was
he
feeling like
couldn't get,
he needed it? Oh, okay, I see.
he was on alcohol and he was doing cocaine, and usually those things don't allow for a man to get hard. So
Mm,
to supplement, they take these pills. Just like Dan Balzerian, the one guy
yeah,
we talked about in that episode, which
yeah.
I was shocked that he was openly talking about how he did the same thing. This is like a recipe that most men do when they go out. Is they go out, they drink, they want to do cocaine to get back up, but then when they go to finally at the end of the night get with the girl, they can't get it up, so then they take these pills.
Oh, wow.
And these pills are like over the
It's
counter.
like a whole thing, like, it's like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
crazy.
that's what happened with Dan Balzerian too. He had a heart attack at like under 30, or he was 30. And the funnier part is he had a girlfriend at the time, but of course he was cheating on her with like a bunch of other girls.
Mm.
And when he went to the hospital, his girlfriend showed up there, and the doctor said, "Were you taking Viagra?" And his girlfriend was there, and she's like, "No, of course he's not taking Viagra. He's not with me." And he was like, "Yeah, no, I wasn't taking Viagra. I wasn't taking Viagra." Like, bro, it's just insane to me. And the whole Lamar Odom thing opened up the fact that these men don't even need a prescription anymore. They go to the gas station. As easy it is to get an energy drink, it is to get these Rhino pills,
Yeah. Yeah,
which is
which is
so dangerous.
super dangerous, I was gonna say, like, that's super dangerous. And you can also, like, your heart suffers from that, right? Like, it's not like it doesn't
Hmm.
it, like, 100% affects your heart.
I was gonna say there's an ingredient. I forgot what it's called. Rhino pills. It's crazy. So I don't know what it starts with an S. I don't know how to say this word too. English is not my first language.
What is it?
Sildenafil
Okay,
citrate.
okay. Let's see.
My smart one. She's the smart one.
Sildenafil citrate or something?
Yeah, I was way off. Sildenafil citrate. We're gonna call it
Sildenafil.
SC.
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 Mhm.
SC. So that's the main ingredient in Viagra that actually causes your heart to have certain episodes. It makes your blood pressure go down. So there are side effects. And these supplements add this in. They sprinkle it in. Sprinkle it so it works, and they don't specify
Mm,
on these supplements that they have it. Because again, the supplement world is a wild, wild west. And that's why it's so dangerous to take anything from the gas station, because you never know what's really in it.
right. That's what
And
I feel like that's what we've learned. That's, like, one of the takeaways is don't just grab anything from the gas station.
mhm,
Clearly, like, a
mhm.
lot of, like, random drugs are being filtered through the gas stations, which is so weird. But that's,
It's
like, where everything starts, apparently.
it's what's it called? It's ground zero for any new just like zombie effect to happen
Right. Right.
to
Exactly.
the casualties that we've been seeing lately.
Mhm.
And with Lamar Odom, of course, so he went to a legal brothel. So at this legal brothel, of course, at the front desk, they have all these supplements for the men to take so that they can have a good
Mm.
stay.
Oh, so he bought it there.
He bought it there. And that's initially where everyone heard that he took these, because where is it? A spokesperson for the Love Ranch also said that Odom bought another brand of sexual enhancement pills from the brothel's shop. And what ended up happening is Lamar Odom suffered 12 strokes, 6 heart attacks, a ruptured
Holy.
kidney, and a collapsed lungs.
Wait, how do you even have 12 strokes? Like back to back or
Exactly.
what?
Yeah, back to back ish when there's outside factors such as what you're ingesting, drugs,
Right. Yeah.
alcohol, cocaine, and then on top of that, these pills where you don't know what you're putting in your body. And no boner is worth it. To all my men out there, no boner is worth
No.
it, okay?
No, it really is not. It's not.
The next day, you can just get a bigger and better boner, okay? Pause.
Well, but I think that they missed the opportunity, like, he wasn't gonna be able to be with the lady of the night, anymore.
The lady of the night. Let me just say this. This is why God invented rain checks, okay? Just
Yeah.
start carrying around rain checks with you. And anytime you can't get it hard, just give it to the girl and it is valid no matter where you use it. You're hearing it first now, lads. It's valid anywhere. Any girl will accept those rain checks. Just be like, "Hey, I can't get it hard. We'll come back tomorrow."
You gotta pay again though. You gotta pay again, baby.
You know
'Cause
what?
I think in his case, he had limited time, honestly. I mean, I kind of understand it because he could only be there for like whatever, 3 days or something, right?
No, he didn't have a time limit.
We had a money limit. I mean, I don't know how much he was spending, but he was spending a lot of money.
But I think at the end of the day, he spent more at the
Facts,
end of it,
facts. That's
like
true.
medical bills and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. It's just insane to me that I never put two and two together because I constantly see those pills at my gas station and
Mm.
how easy. I wonder how many men take it now. Before I was like, oh, I probably know a few or four.
That's actually, yeah, we should do like research on that. Wonder like how common it is.
I feel like if I was a guy drunk as hell walking into the gas station and I saw that, I would try it because it's like,
Really?
oh, yeah, like what's the worst that can happen?
You have a heart attack?
Well, this is the thing. You don't think about that when you're drunk as hell and you're like, they're selling it at a gas station. It has to be healthy, brah. There's no way. And then you just take it. I mean, they're snorting stuff that they have no idea where it came from.
That's true. You're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
I feel like now that I know that it's at gas stations, a lot more men have been taking it. Like, and it's $1 billion industry. And the
Yeah.
wild part is there's no regulation. The pills that Lamar Odom took was on a short list on the FDA's radar on pills that they should be going after next.
Mm, mm.
So I feel like there's too many pills out there that the FDA just needs to get on. That there's ones that just slip through the cracks.
I know what you mean. Yeah, like there's so many versions of the same
Mhm.
combination of um pills or ingredients. Yeah.
And these companies spent all this money to get these out, and if the FDA comes after it, they just shut that part down and reopen it
Get another
again.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
You're the business person. How easy is it for a company to do that? Is it as easy as I'm making it seem?
I think the biggest thing from the business side is gonna find the distribution channels for things like supplements or like drinks or whatever. It's like where you just like kind of grab on like a one-off basis, if that makes sense. For a lot of those businesses, this is from business school. The issue is not even the product that you have. The issue is how to put it in front of customers. So
Mhm.
that's why you see like the things that people buy, like beer,
Mhm.
there's tons of beers, tons of craft beer, like, you could go whatever. The ones that expand are obviously owned by like, Anheuser-Busch or like the
Yeah.
big companies because they have a monopoly on the distribution of those products. So like the restaurant or the store or the gas station is not necessarily going to care what product it is. It's just what's going to be easiest to get delivered and like and cost at least. You know what I mean? And that obviously is going to cause demand and sell, but for the most part you have an advantage as soon as you put it in front of somebody, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
that's it. So it's probably not hard to like actually come up with the supplement itself. What might be hard is like to actually make it be success or like easy to kind of buy because you might not have access to those gas stations as fast as
So
like
this is
another.
what I mean. So there was a pill called Rhino pill that used to be out. What I envision is since the
And I
company
wonder who
had
owns them.
that's a good question. Because what I'm envisioning is the people who sell, let's say, Rhino pills, once they weren't allowed to sell Rhino pills specifically, that same company just rebranded and put a new name and then just redistributed to the places they already have connections with, making it easier for them to do it.
The owner, Daniel Lee, South Korean national residing in California,
Is
was
he
identified
single?
as a primary manufacturer. Okay, Rhino pills. February 2021, he was sentenced to 46 months in federal prison for exactly. I knew that was gonna be your face for smuggling misbranded drugs from China into the U.S.
That's on brand. That's on brand for my boy. That makes sense.
Exactly. Lee operated from Southern California, where he received bulk shipments of sildenafil and tadalafil, the active ingredients in Viagra and Cialis, and they were labeled as acrylic paint or glass bottles. So
This is what
that's
I'm
why.
telling you. The supplement industry is the wild, wild west, my people. Like, even the higher ups of the most profitable companies, I can speak, profitable companies still have to sneak in that shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a dirty, dirty world.
Yeah, he said he manufactured these pills, sold them to distributors, which again, that's like the hardest part, who ended up
Yeah.
placing them in convenience stores, gas stations, online retailers like Amazon and Walmart as well across the US. Um, he marketed the illegal activity was that he marketed them as herbal and natural, but were found to contain undeclared prescription strength pharmaceuticals.
I mean, for once, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I'm a woman and I never have to be tempted by these dangerous, dangerous things out there. How much is his net worth? Can you figure out how
Well,
much
it said on the little Gemini summary that he made like $9 million from it. But I feel like it has to
9
be.
million?
I feel like it's too small.
That's
Like,
way too small for my boy. My boy be smuggling like he
there's
wouldn't be
no
doing
way.
that for
Yeah.
9 million.
There's no way. That's
Act
why he
like
might have. That's probably what he declared.
oh, Claire's a big word. Declared. I like that. I like
Mhm.
that.
As I declare bankruptcy, I declare that I made $9 million.
Like I feel like that's just like a weekend job for him. 9 million.
There's no way he would have been able to also like partner with like all these different distributors. Like, there's no way.
How'd
Anyway,
you?
let's not.
Let's not harp
you,
on my
you,
boy.
you're like, you're like, how do you look into this man? I'm like, no, let's come back. Let's come back, Kat. We're talking
Okay,
about
we're
Lamar
back.
Odom.
You're
So
right.
we're like, okay. So he took the pills. That's what
So
we
we know
said.
that the man is in jail, and that should tell you everything you need to know about this like gas station pill. It's like the most profitable company that should be, some would say, that has a reputation. Their CEO is in jail for smuggling. I feel like that should give you a clear indication of where we're at in that field
Yeah,
in
exactly.
supplements.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with Lamar Odom, and I didn't know that it's such a common thing that men go out, they drink, then they take an upper like cocaine, and then
Yeah.
they can't get up, so then they take these supplements and they get heart attacks, and it's scary because I bet you anything, they're probably feeling like it's like euphoria. They're probably like on a high, and then all of a sudden it all comes crashing down, and they're like,
Mhm. Mhm.
just think of it, one supplement and you can lose it all. You'll never have a boner again. You heard it here first.
Yep. It's true.
I don't make the rules, I just share it with everyone. Science.
Yeah. So after this happened, obviously Chloe was the one that I think took care of him or like brought him back to life. That's what they
Yep.
said in the documentary. And she put him in a house, and then he was still doing drugs or
Yep.
whatever after. And then she like had to cut him off and let him go, right? And then I think that the interesting part about it too is that he still, I think I saw a video, maybe you were gonna talk about it, but he like still doesn't think that like she did anything extraordinary.
Mhm. He went on an interview and they were basically saying after they saw the documentary, and this is the thing, the one thing the Kardashians have going for them is they film their entire lives. I'm sorry,
So
but
they
you
have going
can't
for them.
you can't twist and you can't change what's already been done and it's been filmed. Like his OD was on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The whole thing was filmed. We all saw it and we were literally at the front lines of what they did and how they handled it. So of course, years later, Lamar Odom is trying to come out and say, "Oh, they didn't do that much. Khloé didn't really help. Khloé didn't save me. God did. Hallelujah."
God did.
That's what he said. And it's like, listen, I get it. Like, thank the Lord, but you should also thank like the angel that was down here helping you, aka Khloé. Because again, it's all on film, my dude. You can't rewrite history when it comes to Kardashians, and that's the one thing
Mhm.
they got going for them. You can't lie on them because they have it on film, okay?
Yeah.
And So Khloé did so much. She dropped her life for 4 to 5 months, and basically was also trying to give him the best care while the people around him, like his father, who he's had a very tumultuous relationship with. His father has been a known drug addict. He's been in and out of his life. And of course, once Lamar Odom OD'd, his father went to be by his side, and his father wanted to take him off the machines, like close the curtains on Lamar.
Yeah.
But but of course now Lamar's saying that he doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe that he would say that. Basically trying to question Khloé and what she did and her, how do I say this? I don't know. He's just questioning everything about her. Man, and this is the thing. Khloé is a 1 in a trillion woman. Not 1 in a million, 1 in a trillion. Because that woman will ride or die for you. And I think it's because Khloé knows what it's like to be alone. Khloé knows what it's like to be the black sheep. Khloé knows what it's like to go through hard things and you feel like there's no one around you because she's always been in the shadows of her sister. She's always been like the fat one, and she talks about how it's been very uh what's the word, exiling. She feels like
Isolating?
isolating, very isolating, and so she doesn't want people to go through that. And I feel like that's why
Yeah.
she's always ready to help someone, and
Yeah.
Lamar Odom took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason why he's so upset now is because Khloé won't get back with him.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah.
I think he wanted Khloé so much that when she finally said no and rejected him, this is his way of being able to deal with the fact that he fumbled her
Yeah.
and he'll never get her back, and he knows he'll never get a woman like her.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
would be mad too. I would be saying shit too if I was Lamar. Hell, like,
Yeah,
you
I
know what I
know.
mean?
It's actually pretty wild to me, just like just how much shit like she takes or she has taken, and then on top she like doubles out and then like helps the man. Like I'm like, we are incomplete. And you know what? I was thinking about this. That is why we need people like me, I guess, to like balance that shit out because
Yep.
I will do nothing for a man. Nothing, literally 0. But
Well,
this woman is doing the most. So it's like you have a woman that's doing the most and one woman that's doing nothing, and that's how the world is able to live in harmony, you know?
no, yeah, I
There's no other
agree.
way.
I just, and this happened again with Tristan. It was like we saw it all play out again because everything is on film when it comes to Kardashians.
Yeah.
And when Tristan basically slapped her in the face not once but twice, even after they broke up, she still stepped in to be the caregiver of his younger brother, who is 18 years old and he has a disability and he needs nurses around him. Like, he's in a wheelchair. He can't take care of himself. And even after Tristan played in her face, she took care and she's the primary caregiver for his
Mhm.
younger brother,
Mm.
especially after their mom died. The mom died. Khloé stepped in and said, I will take care of him. He is going to be a part of my life no matter what Tristan does. And it just shows again how she just steps into these situations and is willing to put others first. And I'm just hoping, and I'm hoping, and I'm hoping that now that Lamar has spat in her face in this documentary in such a harsh way, that she finally realized she needs to stop being so, like,
She needs to stop being so caring and stop going the
yes,
extra mile for people that will never ever
reciprocate
um
it.
reciprocate it at all. It's like
No.
do it for people that maybe will give you at least 10% back, 20% back. But 0, like girl,
Yeah,
you're doing
and
too
she's
much right
doing
now.
1,000%. And this is a wild thing. I don't think Khloé, and I say this a lot, as women, we don't ask for much. Okay, we don't. Khloé Kardashian asked for the least, and I think the least is don't cheat on me, and that still just
Yeah.
somehow
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Don't cheat on me again, and yet
Exactly.
they cheated
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
like the bare
Yeah, she was
minimum.
like, "No, okay, well, okay, that's bad, but don't do it again." And he
Yeah.
just kept
Or
doing it.
don't let it be caught on camera again. Or don't get another woman pregnant while I'm pregnant with your child again. Like, Dios mío.
I
I
know.
just I just hope, and I'm glad, and in a way I'm so glad that Lamar Odom is like being such a douchebag on such a level where hopefully it will click in Chloe's head, like, I need to be, especially now that she has kids, she has to be a lot more selective in who
Yeah.
she gives that energy to, because not
Yeah.
everyone deserves it. I do,
I also
but
think
not
that
everyone.
to kind of go on a little side quest, but like I was listening to what's her name? Becky G. Becky G's. She also has a
Oh.
I was watching
Mhm.
her documentary too, and she's with a guy that also, like, cheated on her while they were engaged or something.
Mhm.
And she went on the podcast, like, call her daddy, and she said that they were still together and, trying to explain away, like, people don't understand, like, this is why we're, together. That's like more than just, and I'm just like, okay, the woman that I hear trying to like justify it, try to do like, what's it called? Like acrobatics around the
Mm.
rationale and like the staying together and why. And like they overthink, they like put so much thought into it, into talking about why they're like together or like why something happened or like meanwhile the man is out here, he's just like, I just got hard, I just wanted to like have sex with someone else.
Uh-huh.
Like it was a very simple decision. Your thinking through staying together is like 1,000 times more complicated than what actually happened. So like
Yep.
you should, this is a rule for people, like to anything, for simple problems you have simple solutions.
Mhm.
That's what it should be. Simple problem, the man cheated on you. So it was simple. So it was a simple problem because it was a simple thought and it wasn't a very complex. Because if it would have been a complex thought, they wouldn't have done it. And
Mhm.
so the simple solution is to break up. Simple
Yeah.
problem, simple solution. Don't overcomplicate the thing. Like just do the simple thing, which is to leave.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I didn't even know much about her background. To be honest, I'm still stuck in the 90s when it comes to music, and Sue can attest to that.
Yeah.
I don't listen to
Yeah.
shit. So when I heard that interview, I didn't know anything of what had happened in the past her fiance. So of course I went down a rabbit hole. And I just wish that instead of doing, it's just so crazy to me that a woman has to stand on this platform and explain away this relationship while the man got the simple task of just trying to be a good partner and couldn't even do
Right.
that. I
Yeah.
would just prefer her to have sat there and said, hey, he fucked up. I forgave him and we're still together because I still care for him. And that's all I'm going to say. I would have been like, cool. You know what? That's her
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
I
I
know.
hate her over explanation. Like,
I
bro,
know.
listen, you can't make me. You don't make me try to forgive him. I'm not going to forgive him.
No,
Like,
I
why are you
know.
trying to convince me?
Just like be real. Like, she's like, oh, and I've done a lot of therapy for myself and I understand. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, you're still not
Mhm.
addressing the core issue, which is like him and the fact that
Yep.
he cheated on you. Like, you're not actually saying anything. You're saying a lot of this
Mhm.
and it's not, and we want to see this. Or,
I've learned, like, some relationships are gonna go through ups and downs, and they're gonna get past it, and that's great, but let's not sugarcoat it and make it into something
exactly.
that it's not. Just be honest.
Exactly. That's, just be honest. Like,
Yeah.
shit's fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Be like, "Hey, I cried. I fucking hated that man. I was pissed he cheated. I don't wanna be with him, but I still love him." And I would've been like, "Hey, girl, do you?"
yeah,
And she should say, "Hey, like, don't look at what I'm doing and you do it. Do as I what do they say? Do as I say, not as I do, ladies."
yeah,
You
yeah.
know? But again, this is why call her daddy is exhausting. It's like everyone goes on there to explain away shit, and it just turns into this pile of boring, like, "Oh my god, shut up."
I know, I know. They just like over explain very simple things that you just say what it is. Like it's not
Mhm.
that hard to just be upfront and authentic and come up with the answer to the question of, are you guys still together? Like, yes.
Mhm.
Either say the yes and don't say anything else, or
Mm.
like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or like be real. Like that sucks.
100%.
It was terrible. I was like, he did everything. Also, it's always the woman explaining away the infidelity. It's never the man.
Uh-huh.
Man's out here. I looked at his Instagram because I was curious. This man's out here just being like, I'm hot. Like, I don't I don't
I
care.
You heard it here first, people. If a guy ever cheats on me, he will be sitting at this podcast explaining himself away while I'm in the background just like chugging wine.
I
I'm
think
gonna have him at the forefront. Like I would never.
I think assuming that he would make it to explain
Yeah.
that's a big assumption.
I mean,
I
of
mean, like,
course, he
I'll
would
just
have
talk to
to
you and
be.
be like, he disappeared. Oops. He was here and then he no longer is.
That's crazy. We had him scheduled to be on the podcast today, but I don't know where he
That's
is.
crazy. and Soup put her phone on the not disturb and then and like didn't allow me to like track her location for the last 24 hours. Just come
Like,
back at the podcast like, hey,
nothing happened. Nothing's wrong.
it's like what happened? It's like, I don't know, nothing. Just
Oh,
here. And
I
like,
haven't much. I would have applauded her if Alex would have asked her, so what happened with the cheating? And she goes, excuse me 1 second. Mi amor, ven aquí.
yeah.
Come here, love. And then
Yeah.
she would have gotten up and he would have sat down and he
Yeah,
would have had to
you
answer.
deal with the embarrassment.
Yeah,
You deal with the public backlash. Like that's your thing at the very least. At the
that's
very least.
so true. You know what's crazy? Every time, when people do the little clap thing with their fingers,
Yeah.
I always do it, but I feel like it looks like I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like I do
I
it
just
very
understood
dandy.
that you've been trying to do the clapping with the fingers. I thought this whole time you were like sprinkles, sprinkles. I thought that's what you meant. I thought you were like supporting me through the sprinkles.
Every time I try to do this, I look crazy. I'm such
Sprinkles.
a cringe millennial. Like,
Have you
this is
seen like the Gen Z hands though? Have you seen those? She's like, that's so funny.
I
Can't
die.
get into it.
But anywho, so the next part, if you wanna, we're gonna get into is drug addiction.
So this is kind of continue with the theme of like Lamar Odom and like people that have had an issue with like drugs and I listen to this
Mm,
podcast because actually there's a lot of learnings and so I'll talk about the learnings from it. There a lot of inspirational stuff in the sense
mm,
that you might not think because you might think it's about the recovery but no, for me it's inspirational in a very different way. So
okay.
there's a podcast called Nothing's Off the Table. Yeah, that's the name. And people go in there tell the story about like the drug addiction. That
Mm.
amazing. So I'm gonna just speak about the top 5 learnings that I've learned from this. It might be
Okay.
less actually. I might have said 5 too fast. But number 1, you dying is not as easy as you think. That's
Mm,
from substances. Like because these people, it's same thing with like, Charlie Sheen or whatever. They're just like, I did an 8 ball plus all these pills plus all these other things and I was on running on no sleep for 3 days and then I injected this into my veins and they still didn't die. Like they're all like here
mhm.
talking about it, right? I mean, they could have, I'm sure that's otherwise they wouldn't have been there, but I'm like, man, like we're resilient, right? So on
You know,
that, yeah,
I
go
will
ahead.
say I do think about that because I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to health.
I was exactly going to say that was going to be my
Yeah.
next point. Like I'm like every time it has made me calmer because if I feel a pain or like if I
Mhm.
like whatever, I'm like there's no way because these
Mhm.
people were fine and they did
Yep.
25,000 other things. So whatever I think I have, like I don't have it. I know that. Like so
When
I'm good.
when I was going to Denver on the women's retreat, not
Yeah.
girls trip, women's
Yeah.
trip.
Women's retreat.
I hadn't slept for 2 nights and I was like, "I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." And then I remember like there's people doing like 8 balls and like fentanyl. I think I'll be fine if I don't have 2 nights of sleep. Like I think I'll survive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, "I'll be fine. You're cool. You're cool. Charlie Sheen's here, so am I."
That's exactly the way to frame it, right? So number
Mhm.
1, like for me, it gives me like this tranquility listening to it. I'm like, wow, like I'm actually like really good. Like I think like I'm gonna live for a long time because I'm not doing all
But
that shit, you know?
I think it's also good to note that those people have built a really high tolerance. So don't go out there and start doing drugs thinking
Okay.
you're invincible.
So that's the
Okay?
second learning. If you're gonna start doing drugs, start early.
Oh my
Okay. So
god.
if you're gonna do it, do it early. Do it at the home
Okay.
because that's when you build up like resistance. So like a lot of these people started when they were like 11, 12.
So we're
One,
fucked.
one kid OD'd in middle school. One guy when he was a kid OD'd in middle school.
So we're fucked then because like we're
Yeah.
mid 30s and we still
So
haven't done any.
so that's the second learning for me is like we can never start basically. It's way too late. It's way too late now.
Okay.
Like, we might actually die. So, don't start now. We should have started back
Damn
then,
it.
but
Yeah.
we were
Mhm.
even in college, it would have been a good time to, like, start, but
Yeah.
we were busy drinking, I guess, and going to
Yeah.
clubs, and
Yeah.
we were like, "What is that? Ew, I don't want it. I don't want any powders."
It's gonna ruin my makeup.
Yeah,
No.
no. So we said no when we were young, and now we're here.
Yep.
So we're like
I always
anyways, we can never start. That's the
I
second
always
learning.
said, and I always said, like, oh, when I get older, I'll at least try cocaine, once, like, not now. And then fentanyl came out, and I'm like, if people are around me with cocaine, I freak the fuck out now.
Yeah, I
I'm
know,
like,
it's so scary.
so I know for a fact, like, fentanyl has been a great, what's the word?
Deterrent.
Deterrent, yes, to
It's
not,
okay.
like,
I'm
I'm
here.
not doing anything.
I'm here to give you the words you need anytime.
Binging, binging,
Yeah. So
sprinkle.
that's a second learning. The third one that I have from this podcast is that you can do whatever you set your mind to, okay? Because I think one correlation that I've seen is like a lot of the people that were in there were like at some point really successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're risk takers.
Mhm.
So that personality trait kind of like carries into addiction, right? Where like they were making big bets on themselves. They were making like a
Uh-huh.
lot of money and then they were obviously like addicted, right? So um I think if you want to learn something from them is that you need to like be a little bit more fearless and take more risks when it comes to like work because it can lead to success, you know?
Yeah. I feel be as I know what I'm gonna say, hold on, it's gathering in my head. Just imagine, like, 50 mini
A
people trying to
thought is forming.
a thought is forming.
Do 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 do.
Um, it's basically you have to it's like when I'm drinking, okay, you have to act like you have no inhibition, I said,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
act like, anytime I do something now and I get
Like no
nervous,
one's watching.
I'm just like, just pretend like you have no inhibitions. Just
Yeah.
act like you're wasted and just do it. Who
Yeah.
cares? Like, and the crazier thing is when I was younger, and when I say younger, like maybe like 9 years ago, I used to be obsessed with the show Intervention. That was my go to show. And I always found it interesting because you saw these people who were very successful, who had, were interior designers making millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
another guy who rode the high in the early like 2000s with the house boom, and he was like a millionaire. And then you see them dabble in drugs and then they have nothing now, and you kind of see that scope of someone who can be so successful but yet land to where they have nothing. And
Yeah.
that kind of correlation, I don't know why, it was always something I was really intrigued by. And it kind of made me realize the most important thing that I tell myself all the time now is I hate when people say, "Oh, that could never be me. Oh, that can never be me." And I think
Mhm.
when people think too much like that, that's when you find yourself in scenarios that you end up hitting rock bottom a lot sooner.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is I've known people who like have dabbled in drugs and said, "Oh, I can never be addicted. Oh, I can never be addicted."
Mhm.
And because they have that forefront, that fog in their mind, they slowly don't realize the small indicators advising them that they are on that route.
Yeah.
Because in their mind, they're like, "Oh, that can never be me."
Yeah.
And they fail to realize all the warning signs. The warning signs like, "Bitch,
Mhm.
no." You
Then
just
denial, like
exactly.
that you like you can undo a little bit, and then you're gonna be okay. But then they never end up doing a little bit. It's always a lot of it, and
Yep.
I think so. That leads to the fourth point. Learning is that like well, first of all, I think it's because this man was the host was either from Tampa or is from Tampa or lives in
Ooh,
Tampa or there's some so there's like a ton of Tampa people in the podcast
wow, I've never heard of this.
and in New Yorkers. Yeah. So anyway, the fourth one is that your environment, right, like has a lot to do with it. So
Mhm.
and this is the case in a city like Miami as well, where like everyone is doing the same thing. So you don't feel like you're doing anything out of the ordinary. Like you're hanging
Uh-huh.
out with like all your friends and like honestly that there might be multiple addicts in that group, right? But
Yeah.
you're like going out. And then oftentimes what happens, even if your friends are not like addicts, what happens is like you're jumping from group to group, like in the middle, like one group goes to bed and then you're like kind of like going to the next group and the next group is like,
Mhm.
now and then the next weekend is like a different group. But you're like still on your thing. Like you just need people
Yeah.
around you to be able to like do all the drugs or like or drink or whatever it is that you're addicted to. So I think that's like super important to your point because other if you feel like it depending on which group you're hanging out with, you might not think you have a problem because it might be like
Yeah.
just what everybody else is doing.
"Oh, just had to give that guy head so I can get drugs." "Oh, me too. It's not that bad. High
Right.
five."
Yeah,
Like,
that's like your environment. You're like,
mhm.
yeah, we're all doing it, and it just like becomes normal, but it's not. It's just this like
Mhm.
subculture that you're now a part of.
And you think it's okay, and in your mind, you're still thinking, "Oh, that can never be me. Oh, that can
Right.
never be me." I always said I cursed the day that I started saying that. I remember when I was younger, "By the time I'm 24, I'm gonna be married, I'm gonna have 5 kids, and I'm gonna be in a huge house."
Oh, is that what you thought?
Yeah, and I was like, "If I'm 20," because remember, I used to live with people who are older than me,
Yeah.
when I lived with the guys, and I remember some of their friends would come over and they were like 25, and I was like, by the time I'm 25, I'm not going to be doing what they're doing. I'm going to be married. I'm going to be in the kitchen being a good wife. That could never be me by 30. Oh my God, I'm going to live next to Paris Hilton. You
Yeah.
just wait. And it's like, bitch.
The funny thing is that I was like, ew, women that get married are so annoying. Like I never won that. And I was the first person to get engaged and married out of like the whole
Mhm.
friend group.
Wow.
So
And now Sue's super happy. God, Sue. It's so
so
the
annoying.
worst for you. Ugh.
I like never wanted a man, and a man appeared.
But I mean, like, I feel like in our 20s, we probably thought we would have a lot more stuff together. My thing would always be like, oh, that can never be me. That can never be me. And I just
Yeah,
learned not to say that. That can definitely be me. Like,
you don't know. Yeah.
you have to be aware of it so you can work towards it not slowly creeping up and it's happening, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
it's like a stark reality that I learned in my 30s is just be more aware and present of what's happening because it can always be you.
Mhm.
It can always be you. You can get addicted. You can lose everything. It can happen to anyone. And intervention, that was the one biggest part was they would have these bodybuilders who never drank, never did drugs, would always be the DG, Mr. Clean from head to toe, inside
Mhm.
and out. And then one day decided to do heroin, and now he's like scraping copper in a yard trying to get drug money. When prior he was the healthiest person. Like it can be you. And it's okay to acknowledge that because then you're living in the reality of I'm not going to let that happen
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I know that, you know?
Yeah, and that's the so then that's the last thing as well with this, like, I guess I will say the last, like, learning is that the behaviors don't just start. I mean, this person that, of your example, like, they tried something and then they became addicted. Usually that person would have been addicted to something else. Maybe it wasn't
Mhm.
like drugs, but it
Yeah.
starts with like getting, emotionally attached to people or like toxic relationships. You can be addicted to like fast
Mm.
love. You can be addicted to like,
Yes.
just a bunch of other things
100%.
before it is drugs, before it
Mm.
manifests as drugs. So,
Yep.
and that was a very common theme also with this podcast. It's like they'll stop doing drugs, but then they'll start gambling. So that's like another
Mm.
addiction,
Mm.
or like they'll start like having a lot of sex, and then it's like so it's like literally just like the behavior. It's just like
Yep.
the tendency to get addicted to something, the lack of balance, and trying things out.
It's like once you open up your mind to what addiction is, you're fighting your way into not pawning it off into something else.
Yeah,
Because I
exactly.
feel like that is an easy thing to do. Like, oh, you gave up this, but now it's like something else is fulfilling that hole that was
Cycle. Yeah,
addiction or that cycle
yeah,
that was, you know?
yeah. Like you just continue to get addicted to the different things.
Yes, I 100% agree. I remember there was a Sex and the City episode about this where Carrie was dating a guy who was in AA and he was not supposed to have a relationship for a year. And I guess it also like somehow involved sex, but of course it was Carrie. She didn't give a fuck about anyone but herself.
I know. We've already established that she was a selfish bitch.
hmm
Like,
to
yeah,
our avid listeners, they already know our feelings.
yeah.
And she got into this relationship, had sex with him, and then his new addiction was sex.
Hmm.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. So that's basically a lot of the learnings for me. It's just like very positive things that I want to take away with it, which is like tranquility. That's like
If Charlie
tranquility
Sheen
for
can get
me.
through it, so can you.
Literally, you can get through anything. It's very motivational in that aspect.
hmm
And then also just like kind of learning some of the behaviors that you can apply to your day-to-day life, like take more risks, because like
hmm
life is short, I think they
Mm.
have a lot of addicts have that more of a top of mind. Like I'm only living my life like once and I need to like live
hmm
it to the best. And by default, that makes them more successful. Like
Yeah.
you just have to capture the opportunity, seize the opportunity whenever you see it.
And one person that I always bring up when anyone talks about like drugs and how they never died from everything they took was Ozzy Osbourne, R.I.P. King. He lived a long life considering everything that he did. And it got to the
Hmm.
point that even doctors are like, there must be something in your blood. They wanted to check his DNA because once he went through everything he did to his body and everything that he ingested, they were like, you should not be walking. You should
Right.
be like 6 feet under. How are you here, sir? Am I
But he
talking?
died. He died of old age. No.
I don't know exactly what he died from, but I mean,
Okay.
he died, I think he was in his 80s, I want to say, but he lived a long life, especially considering everything that he did. And it fascinated doctors. He was able to just continue surviving, considering everything that he did.
He died of a heart attack.
Pobrecito.
Yeah. He was 76.
Oh. And it's crazy because if you look back to the Osbournes, I used to love that show. I used to think that Ozzy during that time was like in his 60s, 70s because of how he
Same.
spoke. Because he had a medication like what the doctors had given him was making him sound like that, talk like that, so he always seemed
Oh,
older.
okay. Yeah,
He was in his 50s on that show. Because imagine he's 76. That show was 20 years ago.
I
But
see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
how old
think
is
some people get
How
lucky.
old is Charlie Sheen?
He's
He
also
must.
like he's also let's see. They also need to study him because that man
Yeah.
that
I
man
kind
is
of want
like alive.
I kind of want him to be my primary doctor.
No, seriously though. I'm like, no, for reals.
If he can survive, I can survive anything.
What's his age?
You know
Wait.
what? I think Charlie Sheen should replace RFK Jr. What's
He's
his name?
60. He's 60.
Oh, I thought he was easily like 70. I feel like he's lived 9 lives. I feel
Yeah.
like he needs to replace, what's his name? Robert Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr. The health guy now. Oh, Sue, I'm bad with names. He goes, "Arr."
Oh, RFK, whatever, Robert
Yeah.
something.
I prefer Charlie Sheen in that role than that guy. So I
Wait.
said what I said. So if I ever run for president, just know who I'm going to put in charge of health is Charlie Sheen.
No, seriously though. Seriously, how do you live? Honestly, like tell us, please. Like what happened? Because you've done so
Whatever you're
much.
drinking, we're putting in the water starting tomorrow.
Literally,
I don't care.
we'll make like antidotes like based on his like DNA or something. Just inject a little bit of this because you might just live forever. This is crazy.
His body probably has gone through like sicknesses and viruses that still haven't been discovered.
Literally,
He probably had COVID in like the 80s.
yeah. Literally, he probably was like the body was like, damn. Honestly, he must be running a very effective organism because
Yeah.
his body just like recovered, bro. Like,
And oh my God, his lore, like his backstory is hilarious because he did that one interview where the lady said, "Is there any drugs in this house?" And he goes, "If there are any drugs, you need to find them and bring them to me. Bring them to me if you find it in this house."
yeah, no, he's crazy.
And
But
then,
well, no, I think that basically is like what's concluding this episode. But I think that we are learning that drug addiction is rampant. That don't don't take anything from the gas station.
please,
Wait a few years before, see if the owner gets arrested or something.
for smuggling drugs.
For smuggling drugs, and then maybe buy the product after that. Still under discussion, but if the owner has been arrested, like
Yeah.
don't do it. And then also just live your life like more calmly because specifically if you're not a drug addict, like your body's probably fine.
Yeah,
You're
just
probably
tell
okay.
yourself. This is what, and when I'm, because I've had panic attacks and anxiety, and when I have a panic attack, I honestly, I'm not even kidding. I'll be like, well, Charlie Sheen's okay. Like
Exactly.
I'll go through all these people who have like done the most amount of drugs. I'm like, they're fine. You're fine. You're
They're
fine.
fine.
All I had today was like a whole volume of sodium. That's like the most
I
drugs.
think about that all the time too. As soon as I'm getting a little bit like I'm like, oh no, I'm like, wait a sec. These drug addicts survive.
Like my body is good. I even think my body laughs at my mind. My body and my heart and everything is like, bitch, we got this. Tell your brain to shut the fuck up.
The brain is really what's messing things up, for you. Everything else is fine. So
and I'm telling you, I remember
everything else fine. Just your brain is a problem.
My brain is 100% the problem. God, it's like 90% of my problems is my brain. But I'm not going to call it my brain like that because I guess like my brain does a lot too. But
thank you so much for being with us. And tell your friends, men, or enemies, we're not picky. Follow Hair Up, Bra Off everywhere you scroll. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.